Hey, Brett over here with GetLocalLeads.ai. So in this video, I want to talk to you about the importance of how AI tools are making decisions on behalf of your business. And this might not be something you've put a lot of thought into, but the more that I have AI tools incorporated into our systems and our processes over here at Get Local Leads, I am thinking more and more about how are those tools making decisions and would they make them like I would? And I think that and I know there are different ways to make decisions. I can say, oh, I'm going to do this behavior at the flip of a coin. Heads, I do it, tails, I don't. And that is just leaving my decision. It's the decision to leave my decision to chance. On the other hand, we could have more thoughtful decision making processes. And this is what we might call metacognition. And I think that as a business owner and possibly as a business owner yourself, these are some thoughts we want to start thinking about. How are my employees talking to these AI tools? Are the decisions that these AI tools going to start creating strategic drift in my company because the AIs are not aligned with the company's vision? They don't even know the company's vision potentially. As an example, I was actually just working with a client and we were putting together a source file for, kind of the core information about the business so that we could give our systems a good idea of what that business did. And this business has very conservative values. And as I was reading through the deep research that one of these AI tools did, it was very clear that the AI tool just imported Google's values, which would be would not accurately reflect this client's values. Well, why? Because the AI has a decision-making framework that reflects Google, not our client, and maybe not the way I would do it. And this is true for your business. If we just let AI run free, you're going to get outcomes that start slipping into your business. And at some point, it's going to be so prevalent, you're not going to be able to go fast enough to catch up to all of these, let's just say, improper decisions, right? They don't align with your values, they don't align with your goals, they don't align with the outcomes you want. And at that point, there's going to be a very difficult trade-off that you have to make for your business. And that is slow way down. You've got to take all these AIs offline and then have someone read through all the prompting, all of the information nobody read when they put it in there. Someone's going to have to go through that, and that is going to slow you down, and your competitors are going to be able to catch up or get ahead. That's a bad scenario. Scenario 2 is you don't fix the sickness, the poor decision-making processes that have now slipped into your company, and your company has a bunch of holes, I guess is a great way to say it. You have decisions being made every day, and you have those decisions making bad results. So you're now fighting against yourself. And so in both of these scenarios, the decision-making processes are going to work against your company. In the case of the client that I'm talking about, well, what's the big deal if maybe the values don't align exactly correct? Well, that's actually a really big strategic problem, because if you think about, even let's just say from a GEO perspective, a generative engine optimization perspective, Google's algorithm is out there looking at companies. And if on one page of the internet, they're saying that they have old-fashioned values, and on a different page of the internet, they're saying they have some other set of values, the AI is going to look and say, this doesn't make sense. This is not going to be good for their brand. It's not going to be good for their audience, because now their audience doesn't know what they believe either. These types of things end up with the business working against itself. And of course, we don't want that. So I would be open to making a little bit longer form content if you think it would be helpful for you and your business, in regard to what might be called metacognition. How is it that we think and make decisions? Because we don't just want to say, AI, make this decision, because we don't know how it's making it. And the process in the middle might be a coin flip. We don't know how it works. But how are decisions made, and how are good decisions made? And this is something that I have had a very deep interest in for a long time, never had a lot of opportunities to share about it in professional context, just sort of a personal, something I enjoy. But what are the processes? What are the mental models that we use to create good results as business owners, that we've used to create growth? And then how can we communicate those to an AI tool in a way that they can replicate your process exactly? Now, even a little bit better than that, the AI tools can do better processes. So, as an example, there are decision-making frameworks that I have studied and I have practiced, but I know where I could be better at them. And I practice improving those decision-making frameworks and decision-making models and all of this. However, the AI doesn't have to practice. As soon as I tell it how I want it to do it, and we go through some rollout and some iteration, you have a human in the loop telling it, nope, that's not right, let's try it this way. And then we refine those prompts. Once you get the prompt right, the AI knows how to do it forever, and it can do it better than you. And so that is something that I think is a very intriguing thought process when we're talking about AI decision-making and decision-making mediums to control the outcomes that our businesses produce. If this is something that's interesting to you, let me know in the comments. Let me know if this is something you've thought about. And if you want longer form content on this, I can put together a video with some very specific decision-making frameworks that we have worked and I have worked into our AI tools over here at GetLocalLeads.ai. So I'm always in control of the outcomes, even if I'm not making every single decision. And how do we create those frameworks? How do we roll out those frameworks, and how do we scale them up? Would be something I'd be interested to talk more about if that's interesting to you. Again, I'm Brett. I'm with GetLocalLeads.ai. If this type of content is interesting to you, please feel free to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.